All right, this is Deborah Colleen Rose and Martha Decker and Lou Ann Morse, and we are here on behalf of Miles to Smiles Events, but we are the DFW Paranormal Investigations team. And we got to do, we're at the Crystal Clear Point Studios too, I got to tell you that. And we got to do something this week that we've never done before. And I have to say, I'm very proud of my team. I'm very proud of my friends. This was kind of thrown at us unexpectedly at the last minute. We had maybe a couple weeks to get ready for it. We've never done it before, and we actually hosted and emceed a ghost tour in downtown Dallas, which entailed a lot of work on our part, a lot of research, and a lot of paying attention to details, which is not always our forte as a group.
Mainly because we have our head geared for, do I feel spirit here? Is there something going on here? And you've got that in your head. You've got that in your, what am I looking for? And so attention to detail is not something we're concentrating on at that time.
Well, I'm glad
I was.
You were. Well, that's one.
I go into I go in that totally different type of mindset when we're doing something like that. I'm not into let me sit there and see what I feel mindset when I'm doing something like that.
How funny.
That's her training and background.
That's her law enforcement training. Yeah.
Well, I thought you were going somewhere else with that. You said we don't have our head. I thought you were going to say we don't have our head up our ass. So I'm like, well, I kind of do. That's when I do some of my best work. So, but anyway, so we were doing this for a local networking group here in the DFW area, the Texacom, and I'm just going to hand it over to Lou Ann and let her give you the foundation of this and what we did, and then Martha can chime in, and I'm just going to sit here for a while because I'm tired.
Well, I was originally, we originally were going to do an investigation at the Adolphus. What we weren't told was the Adolphus has put a stop on any kind of ghost investigations on.
I don't think they let you do it at all. I think that this was supposed to be a special thing, and it didn't get to be special.
So no one, if you come with your ghost equipment, you're asked to leave. And so we thought, okay,
except if it's in your baggage and you have rented a room for the night.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how you do it. Yeah, that's how you do it.
So we should have just said we need to rent a room on floor 19. That wouldn't have been suspicious.
Yeah.
We could have had sex or we could have done investigations, but what we do in our room stays in the room.
So instead, what we decided to do is we started at the Adolphus because we had already signed up for there. So we did the history of the Adolphus and the different kinds of things that had been occurred there over the years. And I think it opened in 1927 or something. But immediately, like 2 weeks after the opening, people died in the elevator. Now, I don't know what the elevator looked like, so I'm thinking, because people would say, is the elevator here? And they would turn and say, yeah, and then they would turn and just fall into the shaft. So I'm thinking that it's one of those that was manually operated and the little gate came across. So I don't think it was an elevator like we think of elevator today.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. Before I get on the elevator, I put my hand on the door so that it will not open again, because I actually got pinned in an elevator door. It closed on me as I was getting on. Elevators are sneaky. They're very sneaky.
But many of the deaths happened there near the elevator. And the other one was like a bride was jilted and she hung herself. So these are the things that people have seen, and they see these entities that were killed in the elevator. Sometimes late at night when they're in and out of the elevator, they will see them. Just watch your step.
Yeah, watch your step.
Yeah, from the Adolphus, we kind of made a circle. We went up to the Sons of Herman Hall, and we told some stories on the way up there about them. A couple people got out and kind of walked around a little bit. Then we went by the Majestic. We got out there, and I don't know what, I didn't get out, so I don't know if they kind of felt anything going on or not.
Well, they were in and out so quick. I seriously doubt it.
I,
However, I was at the Majestic the next night for a concert,
uh-huh.
and and so I kind of left for a little bit from the concert and went downstairs to go to the bathroom, and I'm like, Carl, are you here? Speak to me, Carl.
Oh,
Come out, Carl. Carl was nowhere to be found, so I guess he likes jazz. He seemed to be happy that night.
well, and he was the manager there forever, and evidently caused some alarm with the current manager because he would open up the door into the theater and go back and forth. And the next day, the manager would come and like, who the hell opened that door? But it was Carl.
Well, one of the people on the bus told me, he says, we wish that we could just have like a Q&A with Martha, because, Martha has done all that stuff at Haunted Hill House.
Yeah.
And she was talking about some of that, and they were aghast and a gaga and everything else that starts with an A, because, she has some incredible stories about that. Plus the fact that she got to meet Jack Osborne. I think they wanted to talk to her about Jack too.
Of course, it's all very interesting. And as long as you've been doing it, Martha, they want to hear your experiences.
I
Did you
sometimes feel like you and I are frauds, and we just kind of hang on Martha's coattail.
That's correct. We are.
I know, that's what you're doing.
Hey, that's all right. I don't mind hanging on your coattail. That doesn't bother me one daggum bit.
So, Martha, you did the research on the Majestic. Is there anything you were there? Did you ever experience anything there?
I've only been there a couple times and I never did.
I'm going
And
to tell you
was
what's wrong with the Majestic, though. When you go to your seats, it's like a straight slope down. I'm surprised more people have not fallen in that theater and broken their neck. I mean, it's like climbing a steep cliff. It's like it's a 45-degree angle. The little strips where you go down to your seats, you're like huffing and puffing to get up and down those things.
I want to go to a concert of something over at Sons of Herman Hall, because that's where I want to see if I can feel anything over there, because most of the fraternal type places like that I've been in, you definitely get the feelings, because there's so much more emotion that goes on in those places.
Well, let's make a point to the three of us to go over there for something. I'll start watching the venue to see what's coming up, and maybe all three of us can go over there and do that, and we'll sneak in our equipment.
That's nice. Sneak something in there.
You have a backpack. Yes, I do. I have a lot of stuff I carry.
I got a baby in this backpack. You want to change its diaper? Here.
Oh dear. Okay. We also went by the huge giant eye. It's a big blue eye. If nobody's ever seen it, it's like 30 feet of fiberglass, steel, and other things, plastic. And it's an exact replica of the artist's eye. It started out in Chicago. But when it came here, it came as an art installation, and they put it on the site of the Praetorian Hotel, which is also called the Stone Tower Hotel. It was in such disrepair that they had to tear it down. So the owner of the Jewel owns it, which is across the street. He kind of put it up as a FU to the city, because they told him that he could not put a parking garage there. Yes, we know you own the land, tough. So they said it would be an eyesore. And so what did he do? He put up an eye.
Well, it's an eyesore.
Yeah, but the whole point of telling that story was we didn't really have any specific ghost sightings at the hotel, but somebody had sighted a full apparition of a woman walking around the eye. Now, they didn't say if it was Victorian, modern day, what it was, but they just said that she was walking around at the, the eye. So unfortunately, you can't get that close to it anymore because of some vandalism that took place. But I found that interesting because I knew nothing about it.
Well, it's weird
I think
looking.
I think she's still around there, and in her time while she's walking around, the other building is there. She's not out there at the eye. She's out there
At
in
the
her
Praetorian.
time. Yeah,
Mhm.
in
She's
her
looking
time.
for a place to park her horse and carriage.
Well, it was significant because at the time the Praetorian was the tallest building in Texas.
Yeah.
It was like 14 floors, and then the Adolphus came along and was 19 floors. So yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, from there we went where? Dealey Plaza, the Book Depository, and Old Red. I wish that we had gotten out there.
Well, doing all this research for me was really sad. That's that's the simplest way of putting it. Because I delved into a lot of just the general history of Dallas itself from the beginning, how we built up as a city, and and a lot of people have believed for years that Dallas is kind of cursed as a city, and I can understand why, because we've had so much trauma and horrible things happen in this city from the very beginning. I don't think that we're any different though than any other major city. I think that every major city has that kind of history. I just think it literally gets whitewashed, no pun intended, of all the things that go on with racism and organized crime and things like that. But it was really sad. The other thing that kind of freaked me out, because I didn't make the connection till we were actually doing the tour, is how much history of my family ties into the history of Dallas, because I didn't grow up in Dallas. I grew up in Arkansas. And when I started putting some of these stories together, I realized, well, that's an ancestor. That's an ancestor. I'm related to this. My grandfather knew this person. And it was kind of, so then it just made the sadness even more personal for me, because I felt like this was part of my generational history as well. So I found it troubling. I really did.
Well, I guess the biggest one everybody knows is the assassination of JFK, but there were other things there before early history of lynching.
Well, we had 344 lynchings in Dallas in the first 80 or 90 years of conception of the city. That's a lot. I don't care. And of course, then the most famous one was the man that was accused of rape, and they threw him out of the window at the Red Courthouse, and they took him to Acton in Maine to lynch him. And by the time they finally got ready to lynch him, there was over 5,000 people there to watch the lynching. I find that appalling. I just,
Yeah.
And we're talking about times when there were not cell phones. So how did the word spread so quickly to gather so many people? So, and the thing that was aggravating for me is that they would tell you things like a former Dallas mayor was shot here, and nowhere could I find their name. Nowhere. And then there were 3 men that were hung at the grassy knoll, in the early years, but I couldn't find the details of it, why they were hung. It was probably one of those race-based lynchings.
Is that more whitewash?
I think so. And then of course, when JFK came along, there were other people that were shot and killed besides him. But of course, that was the focus of the country with him being president. But Dallas was called the cursed city for years, and people from Dallas were treated like crap when we would travel through the country.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I found ironic is that a lot of researchers credit the Dallas Cowboys with kind of bringing us out of that, that horrible reputation, because they became America's team, and everybody fell in love with the Cowboys, but now they slid back and things of that nature. And Dallas has worked really hard to bring companies here, corporations here with tax breaks and things like that. But it's still a stigma, I think, that's finally dissipating because everyone that's been involved with a lot of these things is finally dead or dying or whatever. And other kids that are coming up don't seem to care about history. And of course, there's been a lot of whitewashing. They can't even find the history. They're not being taught the history. They don't know the history. So,
Martha, have you ever spent any time at the JFK Memorial over there in Dealey Plaza?
I've been over there through the years a number of times.
And did you have a sense of something there at the time?
No, not at the memorial.
No. Well,
No.
I just remember being there one time and feeling the hair on the back of my neck stand up, and you know, I just felt like somebody was watching me that was not human. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I never got that because there's nobody there. And that's not where he was shot. It's
Right.
just, a memorial type thing placed there. And so, no, I don't.
Well, I think at the time I did that, do you remember the cabin that used to be there?
Right.
mhm.
Yeah. I think the cabin was there at that time too.
Well, that could be from the cabin.
So,
Well, there's just a lot of stuff in that, I call it the Trinity, the trilogy, whatever. But because I used to office down there and I used to do a lot of work at going into the old Red Courthouse, doing record searches and things like that. And I've had experiences with supernatural in the book depository. The Commissioner's Court used to meet there. The Bail Bond Board used to meet there. So I was in and out of there a lot for that. I officed across the street from that in that building, and that was just a creepy building for most people. I enjoyed it, but it freaked a lot of people out. Most of the things that people document or talk about at the old Red Courthouse was changes of temperature and feeling touched. They actually would feel touched, someone touching them, that type of thing. So, but that doesn't surprise me because you've got that whole triangle of things going on.
Think about it. That's, happened to be built as a triangle, but you have more than you have the Bermuda Triangle. You have the
Mm.
Bennington Triangle. There's a number of triangles where there is activity just in this country.
right.
Exactly.
So this could be just another triangle, and the buildings just, happen to be there.
Well, and 3 is a magical number in almost every religion, almost every faith base type thing. I don't know a lot about numerology, but 3 is just very common for everybody. So, so anything that triangle, that I would think that that's going to be something weird, something to at least respect.
So, as with any triangle, many things can come and go, right? Not just incidences that happen there.
No, I just the grassy knoll's creepy to me. It always has been. And I've always just had a lot of electricity and electrical shocks anytime I was in that area. And but the other thing that gets me is that did y'all notice how many homeless people were on the streets when we were doing our tour and waiting to get in the shelter and stuff? That's got to affect people. It's got to.
Yes, I think it does. Because to me nowadays, there's not just people who are down on their luck. It's veterans and, people that went through that time when, jobs were scarce. And so it's not just what we consider, I don't know what we considered them, just
Hobos. We used to call them hobos.
yeah.
Hobos.
So the way the homeless population looks now, it's not the same.
Did you have a favorite part of the tour, Martha?
Well, I enjoyed the whole thing myself. And of course, at Heritage Village, Old City Park, that is something, that's something that would have been great to get a little bit more into or spend a little bit more time there even though we were in the parking lot.
Hmm.
Well, everyone enjoyed the time that you spent with them, showing them the equipment, using the
Mhm.
dowsing rods, sharing your experiences with them. I got a lot of feedback from the participants about interacting with you and what they got to do there and everything. I was so aggravated that, our little box didn't go off sitting in the parking lot. I was like, man, that would be great. What a great way to end the tour if that thing would just go, but, it was quiet.
Well, maybe if we had stepped over more to the grass
Hmm.
adjacent to the
Closer to the
area, not
buildings.
the middle of the parking lot, but over on the grass and stuff off the parking lot where you're a little bit closer in, might have had a wandering, oh, what's that going on over there? Hey, Joe, let's go see what these people are doing.
Well, I would have loved to have done that. We did not have permission to do that. I did get special permission for us to be in the parking lot and to be
Well,
able to
that's what
wander.
I mean.
Yeah.
I meant stay in the parking lot, but step up off the curb under the grass right at the parking lot. Just that part alone, because you were closer to the rest
Yeah.
of the houses and the wanderers there.
Well, there was a family wandering around. Did you see them over by the building?
Yeah.
They were just giving themselves a tour of the buildings.
Yeah.
And there was a dog wandering around. I swear to God, it looked like a wolf. I was like, okay, or maybe a coyote. And that would not be unheard of, really, coming from the Trinity River bottom. That would not be unheard of.
Mm-mm.
So,
But what occurred to me finally was, how can you give them this history when you don't even know what's here at the park? So I need to actually make a trip to the park, because they have all of these. They kept talking about the different kinds of buildings they had from the 1800s, but the only ones they talked about were the Millimore Mansion and the law office that had been a grocery store somewhere in East Texas.
I think there's a schoolhouse there and some other things. I've been there years ago, but
Me
I don't know
too.
if
I've
anybody,
been there.
yeah.
I've been there a couple of times, but it's been many years.
And I swear, my son swears, we were there with his school group. My son swears they were told to be quiet in one of the buildings. So, which I'm like, well, it's good advice. Follow it, be quiet.
But he was thinking not from a human, from a
Yeah, because there were no adults in there. So why would,
so a
it was just,
spirit was telling them.
mhm. And of course the Scottish Rite Cathedral, I've had personal experiences there.
Yeah,
So,
we left that off of the list.
yeah, but because I spent a lot of time in downtown and during my career, and I was like, wow, even before I admitted or acknowledged my spiritual gifts, I was having encounters and experiences years and years ago, and I just didn't talk about it. And as we're going through the tour, my memory was being triggered and things like that. And I was like, wow. And
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
yeah, I did, because what I realized is that I've had these experiences all my life. And instead of thinking they're weird and getting all bent out of shape, I thought they were weird and I just tried to ignore them. I didn't want to talk about them, didn't want to deal with them. Because in the back of my head for years, it was always like, well, Grandma Cochran does that and she's crazy, because it's what the family said, Grandma's crazy. And I didn't want to be crazy Grandma Cochran too. So, but I think for next year, we ought to find a building that will let us come in and just spend 2 hours doing an investigation. That's what I think. What do y'all think?
I think so.
Yeah. Of course, investigation, and one, it'd be nice if they could go into several buildings, but because it won't be with a large group, it's not going to be a true investigation.
Well, yeah. Well, honestly, I don't want it to be a true investigation with a large group, because if someone freaks out and calls me a week later and tells me they're having nightmares and stuff, I don't want that responsibility, I just don't. So if we do that, we'll probably have to get everybody to sign,
They
Release.
sign a release, liability release. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I like doing what we do though. And that's going to people's houses, finding out what the heck's going on and fixing the problem if there's a problem. That's what I like to do. That's my thing.
Right.
Yeah,
Is
me
it a
too.
real concern, or is it just something in their heads, or
Or it could be something that you just have to explain to them what's going on, and once they understand, they're good with it.
yeah.
Oh, that was grandma. Or you explain the residual and what it is, and that you can't do anything about residual. And it's just like a videotape that won't turn off. You just
What
gotta
I
live
thought
with it
was
every day.
What I thought was funny is that before the tour, because I've talked to several of the people beforehand, I don't believe in this. Okay, well then why'd you sign up? No one twisted your arm to come. Well, I just think it's ridiculous. And then afterward, I had like 2 or 3 people holding on to me, telling me their experiences that they had, and the encounters that they had. I'm like, I thought you said you didn't believe it.
That
So
happens a lot.
maybe they
happens a lot.
realized that they had had encounters after we talked about our experiences.
No, they're just afraid people are going to think they're crazy.
Or they just brush it off for themselves because they don't
Yeah.
want to deal with it. And
Yeah.
just brush
Oh.
it off. Yeah.
So
Because
they
they don't know how
happens
to
a lot.
process it. They don't have enough information. They don't know what it means. And of course, and you all 3 of us know that all this stuff is not scary. It's just like having a boyfriend that won't go away. Oh my God, they love me. Just go away.
Or like my grandmother used to say, you can come in, but you gotta behave while you're here.
Yeah, exactly. Not everything's, scary. Not everything's evil. Not everything's, requires an exorcism, that type of thing. So,
And it's like Martha said when she's at Hill House, spirits come and go.
yeah, yeah.
Come and go. So, when they run, when they hear a hiss or growl, I just look at them and go, it's just Toby.
Well, here's the thing. If I ever get to be a ghost, I mean, if I don't go like straight to heaven, and I kind of doubt I won't, I'm sure there's some levels I need to go through to get cleaned up and spruced up before I get all the way in. Why would you stay stuck to one place if you don't have a body holding you back and you can go anywhere you want to, anytime you want to, any way you want to?
Exactly.
I'd be going everywhere. They'd be like, why is that old hillbilly from Arkansas at the Louvre? What the hell?
I'd be flipping lights and TVs on all over the place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh my gosh.
Yes, I'm going to
So-
be asking permission to visit several people, not just one. Not
I'm
just
not asking
one.
permission. I'm just
I'm not
going.
asking permission. I'm just going. I'm gonna be inside the refrigerator, knocking on the refrigerator door.
Seriously, you know what? If they don't have enough intelligence to know how to lock me out, that's on them. Boo hoo hoo. Or boo, any way you want to look at it.
Boo.
You want your keys? No, they're not gonna be in that tray. Check the vegetable bin in the fridge.
Yeah. How many years before I died did I tell you put your keys up in the same place every time? Yeah, we're not finding these keys. I'm gonna move them.
I'm going to be just like a cat.
I just think it'd be fun.
Me too.
Oh, you know what? Die. You know what we could do? We could be the DFW real life investigators. When we die, we can go and investigate living people to see if they're really living. Do you have a life? Are you really living? And we could like just kind of haunt them a little bit and whisper
No.
things. Get off your ass and go
Or-
do something.
I'll bring my chicken along and we'll have a poultry guys.
Hi.
Ba-dum-ba-dum.
Stars.
Boom.
Oh, my stars, Martha.
Oh my gosh. Why did we let her in this group?
I was at my friend Gussie. She died when she was 92, 93. And I was at her funeral telling stories about me, about her, about our crazy things we did. And all of a sudden in my head, it's don't tell them all our secrets. And I'm like, whoa, okay. I won't. Okay, I've been told to stop. I didn't tell them by who.
Yeah, exactly.
Since
They
we
didn't
were in the
even know.
church,
They didn't
everybody
even
would have
know.
gone,
They
whoa.
didn't even know. All right, so I don't want to advertise us as doing ghost tours. I'm not doing that.
No,
But at the same time, I had a good time. I was glad we did it. You
yeah,
know, I was thrilled because I thought we all did a wonderful job. Um, considering that this was our first attempt to do something like this. But I want to remind everybody what we really do. We come to your house, we do it for free. Can you believe that shit? We do it for free. And we look to see what's going on and see if you're crazy or if there's something going on in your house and what needs to be done about that. Okay. So just remember that. So it's DFWparanormalinvestigations.com. We have a good time doing it. It's not scary. What else you want to say about this?
well, we just kind of help you identify what's going on. Is it real? Is it something that someone is trying to contact you, or is it just the air conditioner?
Well, and so like I always use Martha as my go-to example because to me, Martha is the perfect example of a great paranormal investigator because she has all of her law enforcement background, her interview techniques, her exposure, her experience with the general public and stuff. And so, so we continue on in her attitude and the fact that we all come to this as skeptics. We're not looking for ghosts. We're looking for reasons to tell you why it's not a ghost.
Yeah.
But if it is, we're able to deal with it and figure out what we can do to help you. And that's why I like what we do more than what I see other people doing. We assume it's nothing. And
Well,
unless proven
Martha
different.
Martha came up with this questionnaire, and
Mhm.
to see her go through the questions and interrogate our client,
Interview.
I
It's
know,
interview.
I know,
I
interrogation.
know. It seems like a bookend, like I'm booking them into jail sometimes. I know.
But
Well, didn't you take
her-
that woman's fingerprints the other day?
Well, you do handwriting analysis. Maybe I'll do fingerprint analysis. Run it through the.
We have fun with what we do. That's the bottom line. We
Yes.
enjoy what we do. It's always a new experience. I will be the first to admit I get in my head an idea of what it is, and I'm always amazed that I'm wrong. But we get
And
into it
see,
quick.
yeah, because my thing is to go in completely unbiased, have no, nothing. It's all fully open when I go in. And then you start trying to rule out things as you do the interview and find out what's going on. Even though you know a little bit ahead of time, you always end up, when you go there, go more in depth into their responses to things. And then you
Right.
start working towards trying to determine what it is. And only after everything has been done, physically, that you would come up to that there is some sort of paranormal event occurring there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, and I'm always amazed at how I'm just kind of like hanging out and I don't feel anything, I don't get anything, and all of a sudden it's like a surge. It's like a, you know, and so I don't know what's that's all about. People that come in and go, oh, I feel the energy. I'm like, really? Let me sit down. Let me have a drink of water. Let me get my feet up, and then we'll see what's going on. Rarely do I just get a bombardment. Sometimes like there's a place in Addison in one of the parks where it goes down into a hole. It's a little, and there's a fountain there. Every time I go there, I get vertigo. I can't go in there. I get so sick. I get vertigo. I get nauseous, all that stuff. So, but I don't normally have, quick reactions to things.
When we were at Karen's house in McKinney, I wasn't impressed by anything. And then I stepped onto the property and I went, oh, wow.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah, that was,
lots and lots of energy there.
yeah. When I stepped on that property, I'm like, okay, where do I go first? Everybody shut up. Everybody be quiet.
Mm.
I got to focus. I mean, that was, it wasn't, but it wasn't overwhelming. It was just like, okay, I just got 5 things to do at once. Which one's going to take priority? So you listen to what's loudest.
Yeah.
So, all right, Martha,
Or
what
you
else
push
you
it
want
to
to
the
say?
side. I say, or you can just push it to the side and let the weaker one speak.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Tell them to be quiet, go away.
It's like, okay, one at a time, take a number.
Yeah, there was a lot going on at that house.
Yeah, the only time that I really get freaked out is when I realize they're talking to me and I'm talking to them, but I'm talking out loud, but other people don't know who I'm talking to. And I see the look on their face. I'm like, oh, just shut up. Just shut up. They're going to kick us out of here. Be quiet.
I had that happen at a reading,
Yeah.
and I had never had that happen before, and I was like talking to this very angry, and I thought, oh God, people are going to think I'm nuts. So,
Now I kind of hope they do. I hope people do think I'm nuts. Maybe they'll leave me alone. All right, Martha, you've been kind of quiet today. This is not you normally. Are you feeling all right?
Oh, I'm good. I'm just chill.
Yeah, I'm tired. So I got to work tonight. So I'm gonna let y'all say whatever y'all want to say, and then we're gonna say goodbye. So say whatever you want to say.
Hi, bye.
hey, if you've got knocks on the wall or things that disappear, call DFW Paranormal.
You
Yeah.
sound like a commercial.
Paranormalinvestigations.com. All right, so this
Yeah.
is made available to you through milesofsmilesevents.com. I'm Deborah Colleen Rose. This is Martha Decker, and this is Luann Morse. And I don't know how I found out about these people, but I'm stuck with them. So we're just going to make the best of it. And hopefully we'll be back in the next month or two with something else that we've done or investigated or whatever. So, because Martha is now, oh my God, I don't know if I want to do this or not, but she is now licensed with MUFON. Is that
Not
right?
licensed.
What
You
is
don't get
it?
a
Certified?
license. I have a certificate. I am now a field investigator with them.
Tell them what
I passed
MUFON
their,
is.
I passed their test. Went through their university and passed the test. So now I'm a field investigator.
Tell them
And
what
where-
MUFON is.
Mutual UFO Network.
A
Mutual.
lot of people don't know that, Martha. A lot of people live in the real world that doesn't deal with shit.
Well, I
That's
forget
right.
because they've been around for 50 years. So they've been around a long, long time.
So we may expand into doing, because Luann's been with Martha on some observations of looking for activity, and I couldn't go because of my hip, but now my hip's fixed, so I'm going to start going.
And we
So
did have an anomaly that one of the people there saw.
right.
We also,
Huh? Yes,
We
we all
all-
well, we all saw except the person who couldn't see red that far away.
well, there was only a couple that were red. The rest was just a bright white pulse of light.
Correct.
Every 48 to 60 seconds in the same general area. It was just real quick. So if you were blinking, you missed it. But every 48 to 60 seconds for, gosh, probably for a couple hours.
Well, so
Huh.
here's my attitude. If it gets me to get out of town and gets me trips, going to beautiful places with great scenery, I'm going. So we're gonna go look for Bigfoot. We're gonna go look for UFOs. You know, why limit ourselves to just dead people? Dead people are boring.
Well, a lot of the activity is between 2 and 4 in the morning. So you have to put up with that too.
Well, I'm fine. As long as I get a nap. I have to have a nap. So I get cranky without a nap
We
anyway.
were out there when Luann was there, I think. You were there at the first one, right, Luann?
Yes.
Yeah. We were out there actually in the outside watching the sky for 7 hours.
Yeah.
Didn't even seem like it.
No.
All of a sudden, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, as long as we have sandwiches and we got some Kahlua and coffee, I'm saying, hey, this is no different than a tailgate party when we were in high school. Bring it on, you know?
Yeah, we got food, snacks,
There
you
was lots
name
of food.
a lot, yeah.
Yeah, take me a camp chair where I can take a nap if I get tired. I'm good. So,
Yeah. We all had
all right,
camp shit.
all right, everybody say goodbye, and we will talk to everybody else later.
Bye now.
Say
Bye
bye,
now.
Martha. Bye
Bye.
now.